Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing okay. Going to read through the full article here. There's a link in the description. I have to say that this is bizarre, very, very strange, very, very odd. You see this lady in the picture. She's got quite severe injuries to her face. They're seemingly self-inflicted. She was hitting herself with a rock after having given birth to a child. The child was left in the toilet that they came out in. I'll give you some good news. Seemingly, the baby, the newborn, has not suffered any significant injuries. The baby is fine, we believe, at this stage. Very, very bizarre situation. So we're going to read through the full details. And if you do like this type of content, if you like me reading through these articles, then please do show a bit of encouragement. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video, perhaps join the membership, which I may have fairly shortly. Encourage me to do live streams, and that's what I'll do. But let's have a look at the details. A 23-year-old Prim, Nevada woman faces attempted murder and child abuse charges after she gave birth in a toilet at a home in Las Vegas and allegedly tried to kill the newborn on the way to the hospital. Ashley Hollingsworth, this crazy lunatic here, is accused of trying to kill the baby by smothering the newborn with a blanket as the victim's father drove to the hospital. The shocking incident began on Saturday night, March the 26th, when this insane, evil person here, Ashley Hollingsworth, gave birth in a toilet in a guest bathroom in a Las Vegas home belonging to relatives of her boyfriend. So they were staying with relatives of the boyfriend, of the father, and she gave birth in a toilet. The midnight car ride to Mountain View Hospital and everything else that allegedly followed can only be described as hellish. And we are going to go through some details here, so trigger warning comes into play. While in the vehicle, Hollingsworth allegedly tried to kill the child by wrapping a blanket around the baby's head and pushing the blanket against the baby's face. The arrest report said that the defendant later admitted she pinched the blanket over the baby's nose or face 2 or 3 times for 5 or 10 seconds at a time. When they arrived at the hospital early Sunday, Hollingsworth, this insane mother, I guess, this woman, Hollingsworth was bleeding profusely, but she allegedly refused to enter the facility, the hospital, and she took off. Authorities said it took 2 hours to find her. When they did, she was clearly injured, as we can see here. So she's got marks on her forehead, and her eyes are severely swollen. I guess her entire face is swollen. Looks swollen to me. Ashley, this crazy lunatic, was wearing grey sweatpants with a large bloodstain in the crotch, a bra, and her sweater pulled over her face. This crazed lunatic refused to take the sweater off of her face out of fear. When an officer removed the sweater, law enforcement noticed that she had a contusion with considerable swelling to the left side of her head. Considerable swelling to the left side of her head. I mean, to be honest, it looks considerable swelling on the right side as well to me. A doctor believed that this crazy lunatic's injuries were self-inflicted. So here's a quote here. While in UMC, a trauma, Ashley, this crazed lunatic, stated that she had gotten beaten up by a rock. The crazed lunatic continuously talked about prophecies and other religious ideations to nursing staff whilst she was at UMC. UMC being the hospital, I believe. The police department said that further investigation revealed that this crazed lunatic had made strange statements about the baby being evil. She also allegedly asked her boyfriend to punch her in the face. I believe to punch the mother in the face. The boyfriend said that the crazed lunatic punched herself in the face twice with a closed right fist before she stated that she was ready to go to heaven. A short time after punching herself, this crazed lunatic laid down next to the boyfriend and thanked him for not punching her. A few hours later, the crazed lunatic gave birth in the toilet. The boyfriend entered the bathroom and observed Ashley standing, facing away from the toilet. The boyfriend described this crazed lunatic as having a confused look on her face. And the boyfriend walked to the toilet and observed the baby laying on her back in the toilet. Her head was not submerged. So that's a blessing. That's a blessing that thankfully, I mean, the baby was birthed over and into a toilet and thankfully was seemingly unharmed in that process. The man picked up the baby and stated that the child's head was not submerged in the water. Then came the car ride to the hospital. The boyfriend told police that the crazed lunatic referred to the newborn as a devil baby and that she said she needed to kill it. The man told cops that he wrestled the baby from her and held the baby on his lap until they got to the hospital. Well done, boyfriend. Well done, boyfriend. So there he is, driving to the hospital with this crazed lunatic who's just given birth in a toilet and, didn't attend to the baby whilst the baby was in the toilet bowl in the water. So he's driving her and the baby to the hospital, and she's ranting and raving about wanting to kill the devil baby because it's evil. So well done to the boyfriend. As we saw earlier in the article, she had attempted to, or she did in fact, covered the baby's face with a blanket and pinched the baby's nose or face several times. So I mean, this must be a really, pardon my French, but a mental mind fuck for the boyfriend at this point. I mean, if we presume that he's a normal, sane person, he's been confronted with this extremely strange, stressful, weird situation, having to drive his newborn and his baby mama, his girlfriend, to the hospital whilst she's trying to kill the baby. Madness. So well done to the boyfriend for getting through this and ensuring that the baby got through this. Back to the article. Doctors on March the 27th at first feared that the baby may have suffered a brain bleed and an anoxic brain injury, but by Tuesday, March the 29th, medical staff treating the baby determined it was not likely she had suffered any injuries. So there we go. There's an absolute blessing there, and praise to the boyfriend. The boyfriend is the one that saved her, saved the baby. So authorities said that they interviewed the crazed lunatic on Tuesday morning. She disclosed that she is the mother of two other children who live with their father in California, where the defendant was born. The defendant also said she was diagnosed at the age of 19 with a medical condition for which she was prescribed medication. She said that she had stopped taking that medication during her pregnancy. So I'm wondering, could be right, could be wrong, I'm wondering if that medication is, mental health related, psychological medication. I would imagine so. I mean, I'm no expert on this matter, but this seems to be a psychological issue, whatever the right term is, experience. I mean, she seems to be going through, I don't know, I'll use words that I don't really understand, but a bipolar, can't think of the right word, but basically she's going through a mental episode. Cops said that this crazed lunatic believed a spiritual battle was going on inside of her and that the baby was probably evil and grunting at her. The crazed lunatic said that Jesus had worked good magic on the baby and now she is okay. After seeing the baby's eyes, smelling what she described as an abnormal scent, and the baby grunting at her, the crazed lunatic decided to wrap the blanket around the baby's head. The defendant also said that she ran away from the hospital and tried to take her own life by smashing a rock against her head 15 times or more. As she was hitting herself, she remembered thinking, "Why am I not dying?" So she said that she felt suicidal because she thought she hurt the child. She is thankfully being held without bond on charges of attempted murder and first-degree child abuse or neglect. And she's due to face court on Monday, April the 4th. So there we go. There are further details within the article should you wish to go through all of that. So what a story, what a situation, absolutely craziness. I'm going to throw in a few comments here, express my opinion on the matter, and you may disagree with me. You may find my comments offensive. Hopefully you don't. Hopefully you're happy to agree to disagree. My comments are, firstly, I mean, what a blessing that the child, we don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but what a blessing that they are fine, seemingly. They are fine and they will be looked after, perhaps, maybe, hopefully, by the boyfriend. Certainly not by the mother. So it's a blessing that the baby is alive and well. That's great. Got to give praise to the boyfriend. I mean, what a situation to be in. I'm going to say something very facetious. Don't put dick in crazy. You know, like I make comments after a lot of articles blaming the female partners for being in relationships with male criminals of various kinds, males that have their boyfriends, their husbands that have shown violent behavior towards perhaps themselves or to perhaps their children. And the same applies to the boyfriend in this case. Perhaps to a lesser extent, seemingly this defendant, this crazed lunatic, has said that she's been off her medication during her pregnancy. And I'm no expert, as you well know, but during pregnancy, there's going to be all kinds of hormones pumping around, which not normally pumping around. So maybe that's what's happened. Is she's gone completely insane due to not being on the medication while she's pregnant. Maybe she was advised not to be on the medication. I've got no idea. But boyfriend, don't put your dick in crazy, guys. We all have to, male and female, we all have to be very selective about our partners. And if you see someone that has mental illness, I mean, you might find this, you might find what I'm saying to be wrong, and you may disagree with what I'm saying, but I'm saying if you do, if you have a partner that suffers severe mental illness, you need to walk away. You need to walk away. Unless they're getting significant help, which is actually working, and they are can't think of the right word, but they're consistently taking and accepting that help and improving with it. I'm sure there are some exceptions to what I'm saying here, but in general, just avoid the crazies. Don't have a relationship with them, and certainly don't have children with them. So there's a lesson for the boyfriend, but outside of that, well done to the boyfriend. He must have been in an absolutely mind fuck of a situation, driving to the hospital. There's the mother, his girlfriend, trying to kill the baby whilst they're driving to the hospital. Absolutely insane situation. And seemingly he coped with it well. Ultimately he got to the hospital safe, and the baby got to the hospital safe, despite the mother's multiple attempts to kill the baby during the traveling to the hospital. But ultimately, I mean, my take on it, I could be wrong. Maybe the boyfriend could have done more. I don't know, but it seems to me that he did save the baby. Frankly, that's my take on it. And then to the woman, my viewpoint may be controversial. You may not like my viewpoint. I mean, look, she's tried to kill her baby. Obviously, that is not good. Obviously, I'm being understating things drastically there. Obviously, it's evil, it's heinous. Now, having said that, I think it's quite clear that this woman was going through some psychotic episode. She's talking about the baby being evil. She was speaking with Jesus, and she goes on to say that she hasn't been taking on her medication, which I think it's safe to presume is psychological medication. There's probably a better term for that. And she went and attempted suicide by hitting herself in the head with a rock multiple times, causing herself injuries, as we see in the picture here. So I do feel some level of sympathy for the woman. I don't feel the type of anger to this woman that I do other child murderers, other situations that I read through. And maybe I'm wrong in that. Maybe I'm wrong to give any kind of empathy due to the mental state of these perpetrators. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the case that all of these child murderers are experiencing psychological trouble to some extent or other. So maybe I am wrong, but I do feel that way. So I'm just expressing my honest thoughts. My honest thoughts are that this woman here was not in a right state of mind, and with that, even though she did try to kill the baby, and thankfully that didn't happen, she didn't do so from her normal mentality. She did so from a place of psychoticness. So does that mean she gets a pass? No, it doesn't mean she gets a pass. It means that she absolutely needs to be institutionalized in whichever facility is deemed the most appropriate. I would not be surprised if that's deemed to be a mental health facility. She obviously can't be responsible for children moving forward. Does she deserve jail time? Yes, probably. I mean, again, she deserves incarceration, whether that's at a jail or a mental institution. I guess I would, obviously have to leave that up to the courts to decide. Those that know better than me. Yeah, so there is that situation. Those are my muddled thoughts. I don't have a firm conclusion about that. I think it's a tricky subject. Those are my thoughts. You may agree, you may disagree. I am interested in your comments on those thoughts, though. If anyone wants to tell me how wrong I am and why I'm wrong, that would be great. I'll genuinely be interested in that. But in any case, wow, what a wild ride! What a crazy situation. I'll wrap things up here. If this is the type of content that you like, if I've delivered it in a way that you appreciate, then please do show a bit of appreciation. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Have a look at some other videos. Ask me to do a live stream, and I'll do a live stream. Ask me, and perhaps check out my membership as and when I start that up. And I'll thank you very much for your time.